Hey love. So I am back and have some revelations, not revelations, some insights to share, I guess. So a little bit of background. I am not a big podcast person. As much as I love the idea of being on a podcast or owning a podcast, I have difficulty listening to things while doing anything else. And therefore, the time to actively sit and listen to a podcast is just not really present for me where I am right now. I just feel like podcast and mindfulness don't exist unless you're sitting somewhere for an hour just actually listening and not doing something else. And I'm not that great at that. But what I did do today, I was really exhausted during work today because I went to bed late last night, still working on that bedtime. And I decided to, when I got home, instead of taking a nap, lay down, staying awake, and listen to a podcast. And I just so happened to be a subscriber to Marie Forleo's MF Insiders email that comes every so often. Every time it comes, it's miraculous. And today she, or it may have been yesterday, I'm a little bit behind on emails too. Full transparency. I have 39 emails in my inbox and it's killing me. Anywho, Marie Forleo interviewed Danielle Laporte, who, if you aren't familiar with Danielle Laporte, she just recently released a new book, The White Hot Truth, but I'm familiar with her from her work with the Desire Map, which I think I learned about her through Marie Forleo too, because they're just like buddies or whatever. Anywho, she does work with truth bombs and some really beautiful, soul-filled, following your desire base work. And they had a conversation on this podcast about getting real about self-compassion and how folks who are in this work of personal growth, who always, I felt like she was describing my life. Like people with all these goals and vision boards and they're doing the meditation and the yoga and the healing bowls and whatever else it is. I just looked over and saw my healing bowl. But whatever else it is you're doing to get spiritually aligned and, on your journey, sometimes you get exhausted from it and those things become another thing on your to-do list. And she talked about, not everything that is for growth is essentially for you to grow, right? You can actually do some damage when you're pressuring yourself, when you're holding yourself to these standards and then becoming disappointed when things don't manifest from your vision board, which I can relate to because I have a check that I wrote in 2013, 2014, or maybe it was 2015 to my 2018 self, but I wrote myself a 2017 February check for $1 million, and I did not get $1 million on February 14th of this year. So I felt like, I'm not doing my woo-woo right. But just other things, amongst all the many things that have manifested, there are a lot of things that haven't manifested from my vision boards, from my goals, and me feeling this this brokenness or this offness or feeling off path or lost or whatever that. There's a myriad of feelings and emotions associated with where I'm not. And she talked about like having compassion for yourself and giving yourself permission to not have to do all the things. And there was a point where it was interesting, and I'm feeling the emotions as I just recount this experience of listening to the podcast. And she talks about this conversation she's, having with herself, like, you poor thing, yeah, your things aren't working out how you plan, like, you poor thing, it's okay, like, having this very gentle feeling for self. And I remember as I was laying down thinking, like, hearing the words, you poor thing, and thinking, like, all right, get some positive affirmations to get at that, because you don't want to internalize that you poor thing. And I was like, well, wait, this is the compassion she's tried to direct to you. Like, you don't have to fight, like, embracing that. in some ways, shapes, and forms, you're currently suffering a bit from the from the pressure. There's a bit of tears coming out my face. A little bit of tears here and there. But yeah, the pressure of reaching my greatness, the pressure of being in alignment, the pressure of becoming. And I have a quote, I don't know if I posted this in the video already, but one of my BKQs was, don't spend so much time becoming that you forget to be. And, you know, sometimes it's easy to give the advice, easier said than done. And I think that's where I am in my life right now. I'm spending a lot of time and energy on becoming or on being completely wiped out and exhausted from the work of becoming. And while I had a lot of time to just be last year when I was self-employed, I had a lot of time to be in between the work of becoming. Now I find that if I'm not working at my job, I'm working on becoming. And if I'm not becoming, I am like napping or eating because I'm so exhausted from the work. And, or binge watching Netflix like I did this weekend. I was like, I just want to check out. And I agree with Danielle and Marie's conversation that the missing ingredient has been this self-compassion. And this is not to be confused with the I am affirmations that I'm writing 25 of or more each morning. Is not to be confused with the affirmations I'm singing myself in the shower. Those are really, that's still the work. That's the work. It's like, okay, gotta show myself love, gotta do this, versus just genuinely being like, girl, you are tired. You know, like, dang girl, when you know, and I when I think about the ways that I spend PTO or vacations, it's like, oh, all right, what book am I gonna read? What webinar am I gonna watch? Like, you know, who could I co-create with? Like, there's this intense work mentality, and gotta take a breath. I gotta get some breath in here real quick. That helps so much. Breath is everything. But doing so much of this work and then having this feeling like the steps that I'm making towards wherever I'm going, these vision board images of my life, they're so minuscule. And that's because every 10 seconds I'm looking like, am I there yet? I am in this phase of life where I'm consistently I'm in the backseat of my mind saying, are we there yet? 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 And one, it's not healthy, because then you make videos of yourself crying on YouTube. All jokes aside. Two, it's exhausting. And three, it doesn't actually get you any further. There's never been a time in the moment of there's never been a time in the history of human lives when a child or anyone in the backseat asking, are we there yet? There's never been a time where that's gotten someone closer to the destination or gotten them somewhere faster. That question has never accelerated a vehicle. You know, the person in the driver's seat may accelerate the vehicle. And, you know, according to my beliefs, I'm like a passenger. I'm making a lot of suggestions and, you know, a lot of asks of the driver, but, you know, there's a divine set of laws and energies that are controlling everything, right? I can't control any of the external universe or world. Not that I would want to, you know, unless everybody has superpowers, then that would be cool. Oh, stream of consciousness. So this is how I talk when I don't have something to talk about. I'm just going. Anyway, reeling it back. Yeah, I was feeling a bit overwhelmed, and hella empathetic when I was listening to Danielle Laporte's story about self-compassion. And I realized, like, I'm in those shoes right now, and I am in need of some self-compassion. So what I did was, against some of the heavy, like, belief building work that I've done, just told myself, like, you poor girl, it's okay. We aren't there yet. And on one hand, that kind of sucks. And on the other hand, it's like, hey, you never know. You never know how things will pan out for the universe. You never know. Like, and this I do know. I do know that, whatever it is that I can dream for my life, and I dream super freaking big. Whatever it is I can dream for my life, that means there's the potential for something 10 times greater to happen, or 10 times worse. I don't really know what will happen, but I know that the potential is there. And so, yeah, right now I'm at a place where there are all these options as far as ways I can approach my next steps for becoming, like, do I focus more on my spiritual growth? Do I focus more on growing my business? Do I take a break from a lot of things and just like coast on life for a little bit? That sounds really nasty, just the thought of coasting, but it's probably what I need. I don't know. I've had the thought, like, do I need to hire a coach? Do I need to do a Vipassana retreat? Do I not need to do anything and just be okay with not being okay? I don't know. I really don't. But I'm still alive, and that means that there is still an opportunity to either figure it out or let it be revealed onto me. I have another opportunity to do something nice for someone else. And not worry about myself at all for a little bit. I have a chance to appreciate things in my life. There are a lot of opportunities. So this overwhelmed 28-year-old is going to take some breaths. Going to go breathe for a little bit. Do one last phone call for the day. I just finished a meeting with one of my alumni boards. And then I think I am going to go to bed earlier than my bedtime today. So I can get some good rest and fuel this little brain and this body. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me be vulnerable. Not sure if this is nourishing to you, mind, body, or soul. Hopefully it was something you could relate to, or, maybe not. And it was just interesting to hear someone else's perspective. Either way, I want you to remember, like I always keep in the back of my mind, that change is inevitable, but growth is a choice. I am Brandi Keeler, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.